Hello, and thank you for joining us on the Stay Healthy Knoxville podcast, brought to you by Simply Physio, aimed at helping you live an enjoyable, fit, and healthy life in and around our community of Knoxville, Tennessee. And now, here is your host, Dr. John Mark Chesney.
All right, I am here with my friend Chris Tank DeFranco. So can we call you Tank?
You can call me whatever you like.
I don't know what I'll be called then. My nickname might be coming out then too.
It will, definitely.
But I'm here with Tank DeFranco, and we're gonna be talking about his involvement in a race coming up, Hardship Hill, and so yeah, really interested in. I was not able to participate last year in the race, but I'm going to be participating in the race coming up here in May, and so we wanted to spotlight this race. It's sounds like a pretty cool race, and wanted to talk more about Hardship Hill. So Chris, how so this is what, the second year?
Second year, yeah. First off, thanks for having me on the show
Oh,
here.
yeah.
This is a great platform for us to really talk to folks in Knoxville about getting healthy and doing something fun at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, it is our second year doing it. The first year was we thought it was just going to be kind of a small little thing, and it turned out to be a lot bigger and a lot more fun, and people had a great time. And before the race was over, people were asking, what's the date next year? Are you going to do it again, type thing. So we are doing it again, and it's going to be on May 18th.
Okay, May 18th.
Yep.
That's a Saturday.
It is.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, just even interested in, with the first one, how did that all happen? Give us, the story behind it.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. We, I'm in a workout group called F3, which you're in, of course, and that's where the nicknames come in, and his nickname is Wagon Wheel, by the way. Yeah. But so some guys in F3, we were just sitting around after doing a Tough Mudder, and after paying a good bit of money, well worth it. It's a great time. Tough Mudder is a good race, but we're sitting around in the back of a pickup truck afterwards, all muddy and everything. We were like, we should really just do our own type thing, and my father-in-law has this big piece of property, and we're like, we could do it at my father-in-law's place. And we could build our own obstacles, and then we could all have all the F3 guys from Knoxville, and maybe invite other cities to come, and yeah, we could do it as a fundraiser too. And all these ideas start getting thrown out, and then so I asked my father-in-law, and he was like, yeah, that'd be great. He's a great guy. And it started getting bigger and bigger, and this ball just started like a snowball, and then turned into a snowman-sized snowball. And he got a little nervous because he's got cows and other things out there, and he's like, I don't think we could do this anymore at my place, and I'm worried about cars and everything else. So God intervened. He basically said, I've got a better place for you. And I talked to a friend of mine just randomly over the holidays, and he said, hey, my wife's one of the council members in Kingston, Tennessee. Okay. And her name's Stephanie Wright, by the way. Shout out to her. She's an awesome girl. She kind of hooked this whole thing up. But anyhow, so we talked to her, and she hooked me up with their Parks and Rec guy. Next thing you know, we're doing it in the awesome place called Fort Southwest Point in Kingston, Tennessee, right there on the water. Beautiful park. They couldn't be more accommodating. The people of Kingston are fantastic. So that's kind of how it got started, just conversation. And the next thing you know, it's this big event. And we had 165, I think, people running in it last year. And then we probably had, close to 500 people out there with kids and everything else showing up. So, yeah.
So it's at a park, some sort of state park?
Yeah, it's a really cool park. It's called Fort Southwest Point.
Okay.
And there's an old Civil War fort right on top of this hill. It's surrounded by an old wall that goes around it with, cut timbers and all that stuff, and cabins and everything. And Kingston was so great. They were like, you guys can camp there if you want. That's, you can stay the night on Friday night and stay the night on Saturday. If, anything we wanted, they would do it. So that was our base camp, so to speak, where all the teams would hang out, because it's a team race. And it creates a lot of fellowship because you're hanging out and waiting for your time to run and things like that. But yeah, Kingston, that park is gorgeous, right up on top of the hill. And that's where the name came from, really, because we talked about trying to tie it in with my father-in-law's place somehow, and we threw around some names. But once we got there and saw that hill, the Hardship Hill, and the fact that we're doing it for Operation Enduring Warrior, and their hardships that they go through, it was perfect fitting name for it.
Right. So yeah, tell us, you mentioned Operation Enduring Warrior. And so it's, the race is a fundraiser, or tell us how all that works.
Yes. every bit of the proceeds go to Operation Enduring Warrior, except for the race expenses, which are very minimal because we're getting a lot of donations for the supplies. All the obstacles themselves are being built by the men of F3, and then the town of Kingston is also providing, like, they're building our mud pits for us. They're providing some of the obstacle type stuff. So pretty much the race is taken care of. We get some donations from people like Home Depot and places like that. They give us some wood donations as well. So all the proceeds are able to go, minus like insurance and T-shirts, goes directly to Operation Enduring Warrior.
Okay.
Yep.
And so tell us some about Operation Enduring Warrior and how that was selected and why. Yep. And
yeah, so that's a group that's kind of been a little tightly knit with F3. It's a veteran-led organization, so that means it's completely voluntary. There's nobody paid in Operation Enduring Warrior, and it is solely there to empower and make our nation's veterans that have been wounded in combat, and not only our nation's military veterans, but also our first responders and our police force, those folks that have been injured in the line of duty. Take care of those. But it's a really cool organization. It's not like your typical one where they give money and they do, medical type things. They do a little bit of that, but most of their stuff is getting these guys out and getting back to a normal, fit, active life, letting them know that they still have a lot of life to live. And that's kind of like the workout group we're in. F3 is kind of like that as well. Just getting out and enjoying yourself, enjoying the fitness levels that you can do. And a lot of these guys maybe don't have that mindset, but that's what Operation Enduring Warrior does. It tells them, hey, you can still do adventure races. And that's what they do. They do adventure races with guys. They do skydiving. They do scuba diving, all kinds of stuff. And they get these guys out, letting them know, hey, you still got a very productive life physically and mentally.
So they take them out on these adventures as part of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
They sure do.
Awesome.
It's really cool, too, because some of the guys are very disabled. So you're going to see some guys that have, lost their legs. And Operation Enduring Warrior has a team of guys that go around, excuse me, and they take them through these obstacle course races, like a Spartan race or a Tough Mudder or something like that. And they completely cover themselves in camouflage and helmets and goggles and everything because they don't want to be seen. They don't want to be the center of attention. It's all about what they call the adaptive athlete. So,
okay.
Really cool organization. We got hooked up with them again through a conversation. We were sitting around after a workout, and someone talked about a fundraiser at a pint night at Sono Taco. And so we went to that and got to meet some of those guys from that organization. And next thing you know, that's who we're doing it for.
Nice. Now, have you actually seen that that side of Operation Enduring Warrior where they're actually assisting, they're helping, or a veteran through like an obstacle or an event like that?
Unfortunately, I haven't.
Okay.
I went to I do some Spartan races and stuff like that, but I haven't been able to link up with them. I've seen videos of it, and it's very, very encouraging, and really just makes you quit whining about yourself, to be honest. I mean, some of these guys are amazing. So, yeah.
We did, Tank and I, did a Tough Mudder in October, and it wasn't exactly the same. I just remember there was a young lady in a wheelchair. I don't know if you saw her.
I remember that.
She wasn't, I guess, I don't think she was a veteran, but in a wheelchair, and just seeing like her team around her rally behind her with her disability. I'm sure it's similar type thing.
But it's very much like it. Yeah, that's what they do. They just gather around these guys, make them do as much as they possibly can. But when they can't, are limited by their disability, then they can help out. Yeah,
nice. Well, so this is your number 2 for Hardship Hill.
Yep.
So my understanding was year number 1. There's a lot of people involved, but you kind of spearheaded the races. Is that kind of what you'd?
I just have a hard time relinquishing things. My wife tells me that. She said, "You need to get people to help you," and it's like I love doing it. It's just my wife and I run a kickball tournament every year too, and it's just that's what God calls us to do. He calls us to serve others, and that's just it's probably wrong that I get enjoyment out of it, but because it's not about us, but it's fun, if I could figure out how to make a living on doing this, I would do it, but that might be wrong too. But yeah, I mean, it's just a good time. So this year, I did take my wife's advice, and I'm starting to recruit some. And last year, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of F3 guys that helped out
Yeah.
building obstacles and things like that, getting food together for the racers, and we've got more involvement this year too. So.
Right.
And then also we partnered too with Dirty Bird Events.
Okay.
And he's a great guy. Ryan Rome is his name, and he does local race circuits. Does a lot of mountain biking and running type things.
So it's a Knoxville area kind of organization.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's a great guy. Him and his wife both run Dirty Birds, and we're partnering with them this year for registration.
Okay.
So it'll make it a little bit easier, and then he's going to kind of set up some stuff at the day of the race too. So he helped me a lot last year. He was like my guru that I would consult on.
Right.
What do I need to do here? So this year he's just being a little bit more involved.
Okay. Nice. I mean, I couldn't imagine. Before last year, you said you'd done the kickball tournament.
Yeah.
But this sounds like it's a whole different level. Like, how in the world, like, do you go from like a novice, oblivious, to throwing this thing together, which it sounds like was really a success. I mean, that you're doing number 2.
Well, yeah, it's and God's behind all this stuff. I got to give him the credit because it's not nothing that I've done or my wife done or even the guys from F3 have done. Everything has fallen into place. Like when my father-in-law told me that we were going to lose, that he really didn't feel comfortable with it. I tried not to panic because we were kind of already into it a little bit, but it was weird. God was there and he had a plan the whole time, and it turned out to be even better. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about actually the race. I mean, there's different styles of, so it's under the umbrella of an obstacle course race, right? Or like a mud race type thing. Yeah. People may be familiar more with like a mud run, is more common, I guess, around. But tell us a little bit more about this race and, how is it set up and how is it different than maybe what people have experienced in maybe other adventure type races?
Yeah, for sure. It's different than, and everybody's going to say the race is different, right? But we're not competing against any kind of Spartan or Tough Mudder or anything like that by any means. That's not to say our race is not tough and it's not fun. But our race is different because it's more of a team oriented race. It is a 5-hour and a 10-hour race, and when I tell people that, they're like, "Oh my God, no way! I'm not doing that." But it's 5 hours and 10 hours, but you're taking turns. So you have a team of anywhere from 2 to 8 people. 2, you're pretty much insane if you're doing it. We did have a mother and son do it last year, the 2 team, and I think they.
When you say 2 team, like 4 individuals?
2 individuals. It can be 2 individuals all the way up to 8 individuals.
So they didn't get a break.
They did not get a break.
Okay.
No, they could. I mean, they can do it at their own pace.
Sure.
And I don't think they
weren't tagged out.
No. So basically how it works is, most teams have 8 people, and 2 people run at a time on a team. So they run a lap, and this year it's going to be about maybe 2.5 miles. I'm shooting for 3, but that might not be possible. Last year was right around 2, and there's 20 plus obstacles on the course, and those range from jumping over 3 or 4 logs to a mud pit to this year we're going to have a little bit more upper body type stuff, but it's stuff that you can get past. We're not going to punish you if you're in it for the competition, and we do kind of have different, not technically heat waves or anything like that, but if you're in it to win it, you have to finish the obstacles. But if you're out there just to have a good time, and we want those people to, we want people to just go out and say, hey, let's try this. If I can't get past this obstacle, not a big deal. We're not going to make you do 30 burpees or anything crazy like that. So that's kind of the premise of the race is team oriented. You get to hang out while your teammates are running around. There's like I said, there's a base camp right in the middle of the fort, and it's fellowship time. You're hanging out, enjoying each other's company, and enjoying the other teams, and getting to meet new people and things like that. It's a good time while your teammates are just dying on the course.
So it's so you're going with your teammates.
Yep.
And so are there obstacles that are designed in a way that requires you to have a teammate, or I don't know how much you can tell us?
Yeah.
If it's supposed to be secretive?
No, not really. I mean,
obstacles or
yes, no. We try and keep some of them kind of secret. We maybe about a month before the race, we kind of release the names of the obstacles, and then, we might show a picture or 2 of the obstacles. And this year we're going to have some challenging ones that you will need your partner's help with, and that's why we run 2 at a time. 2 at a time too is also kind of pushes you. So it's good to be on a team with if you got somebody that that if you start slacking, they're going to kind of push you a little bit too. So, or it might just be someone to talk to while you're walking the course and not really trying that hard, but just getting some exercise that day. So,
Nice.
yeah.
So, are there any age, any requirements
No,
as far as that aspect?
we don't. You just need to be physically fit enough to do it. Now, that being said, we've got I think we had a woman that was in her 60s last year.
Okay.
And she maybe did it twice, the course twice, and
Mm-hmm.
she took her own pace and things like that. And we've got some guys that are older, but and then we've got some young bucks. I mean, my son who's in middle school, he's then he was 12,
Okay.
and he destroyed it.
Mm.
Him and his little buddies, I think they did like 7 laps on the course. So it's really for anybody. We do have a kids race as well. So
Okay.
that's different from the actual race. It's early on, and they get to do 1 lap and get buddy and stuff like that. So
Okay, they're doing a modified course?
yeah,
or?
I take out some of the obstacles for them. I
Okay.
just kind of pick the ones that may be challenging a little bit for them, but nothing too bad.
Okay. So that's for the kid race, for people that are interested, what's kind of age would that be steered towards?
Really, at any age, if they're able to run, then they can do it.
Yeah, a parent could take.
Yeah, we need to have the parent probably there with the younger ones.
Yeah.
And I suggest that when I look at the kids and say you might want to just run beside them.
Yeah.
And they do that, and it's fun. So yeah, they just have a good time.
Okay.
It's funny, the kids last year I set aside like I think an hour for them to run the course right before the actual course started, and they ran it in like 10 minutes. So these kids were a little bit more fit than I thought. So yeah, but it's a lot of fun. The kids get muddy, they get a T-shirt and stuff like that. It's fun.
Nice, nice. Well, so last year you raised. Was there a certain amount of money that you guys raised, or is there a goal then for this year?
Yeah, I don't even want to say what we raised last year because I want it to be so much bigger this year.
Yeah.
No, but we were able to raise $4,000 last year.
Okay.
Which is not bad. Just coming up.
Did you guys do any advertising?
No, not really.
Yeah.
We had maybe a radio interview or two, but
Okay.
Other than that, no, it was really driven by F3. Probably about 90% of the teams were F3. This year it's going to be different, and then we're also branching out within F3 to bring in the other groups from outside of Knoxville.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're gonna hopefully triple that number.
All right. I don't know, for listeners too, we're going to be talking a little bit about F3. We've kind of mentioned that that group, but after our break, we'll be talking a little bit more about F3 if you hang on for the second part of the episode. So do you have certain goals or things that you guys are hoping to hit, or
number one goal, no one getting injured.
Okay.
That would be that. If not, they can come see you. But
that's right.
Yeah, like I said, I'd like to triple our dollar amount.
Okay.
I would like to double the amount of participants that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to do that. We're not in control of this thing. But we're going to make it fun, and we're going to make it a challenging course that somebody that is somewhat fit can do it, and then someone that's really fit and does these Spartans and does these obstacle course races a lot is going to have a good time. We had people last year that did run Spartans and things like that. They were like, man, it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Like, I'm not messing around here. This isn't but then you can go around certain obstacles if you need to as well.
Yeah. I know some people who, maybe here local, this is, podcast is really meant to be more of a local, podcast, maybe somebody who hasn't experienced any type of adventure, mud run, type thing. Would there be somebody who you would kind of like certain obstacles or things that would create some hesitation for somebody to participate?
Maybe if you're afraid of heights or afraid of water.
Okay.
So I'll give you kind of some insight on what we're planning a little bit this year, and maybe what we did last year, but just improving it on. We have a big wall that they climb over, and that could be intimidating to some people. But again, you can go around it. We have a smaller wall too that they can go over if they want. So that gets a little bit spooky, especially when you're getting tired and stuff. But we always have somebody there to catch you in case you fall. We have water crossing. We have
water crossing.
So basically it's about chest deep, depending on how tall you are.
Okay.
And you're kind of trudging through a muddy bottom lake to get across.
Okay.
And that's probably going to be about 50 yards across.
Okay.
We're going to have some upper body stuff this year. So climbing wall type things, and that'll be over water. So if you fall, you'll fall into the water.
Oh, wow.
we'll have some shocking type things, but not electrical shocking. I really shouldn't say that because I don't want to ruin it, but we'll have something that's involving some ice cubes. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
But like you said, any of the obstacles, like if somebody wanted to participate and they had, a phobia of heights or
Not a problem.
water, they could skip one.
Yeah, and there's no shame in going around something. If you don't want to do it and you're out for fun, go for it. But if you're one of these guys, we're going to beat you, you better be doing it. So, but then again, we're not checking either. So it's all, this race is for Operation Enduring Warrior. These guys have put their lives on the line and worked so hard to protect our country, and they became injured in the process. And if we're going to go out there and do a race for their honor, we need to be honorable in doing it.
Sure.
In the honor system. So, yeah.
Sure.
And I say that before the race. Make me feel bad if they lie.
Nice. Well, if somebody's interested in either registering or finding out more information, what's the best way somebody can do that?
So we have a couple ways. Of course, if you're on Facebook, you can go to facebook.com/Hardship Hill OCR, or you can just search Hardship Hill on Facebook, and you should be able to find it. OCR is obstacle course race, and it's a team obstacle course race, like we mentioned too. The registration site is through Dirty Bird Events, and you can go there at www.dirtybirdevents.com.
Okay.
And you can also see Ryan's other events that he has if you're wanting to do some other fun things in Knoxville. He does a phenomenal job with his own events, and really looking forward to partnering with him this year.
Awesome.
Hardship Hill.
And as far as registration fee, how's that with different teams? Is it by just individual? Or?
Yeah, so what we do is we have an individual registration. So each person will pay their own registration fee, and it depends on when you sign up. So sign up early. As soon as you hear this, get online and sign up, and it'll save you a little bit of money. The closer we get to the race, it's going to add, I think, $10 every other month or something like that. But anyhow, it's actually affordable. I think their starting price was at $40.
Okay.
But again, it's on a fluctuating scale.
Sure.
Where most of your OCRs and things like that are going to be quite a bit higher.
Right.
Spartans, I think, are around 100 and something. And
I know with the Tough Mudder, I probably paid $170.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're out there, listening, to this, and this would sound like a great race to local, supporting an awesome organization, and a way to get in there without really breaking the bank.
That's right.
Too. So definitely check that out. So yeah, anything else that we're leaving out, or
yeah, maybe during the event, we also have a silent auction.
Okay.
So we have a lot of good stuff that's up for auction that people can bid on during the race. We have some weekends away at some hotels, and we have actually some Spartan races that people can bid on. There was all kinds of stuff last year. We had athletic clothes and some nice things for ladies as well. So we'll have that again this year, and people that are coming to watch. The way this place is set up too, by the way, it's not just for the runners. We want families to come and watch and cheer on their parents or their kids or whatever it may be, because it sits up on top of the hill. So the viewpoint from the hill, you can almost see the entire race.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. This year it's going to kind of wind down in an area that you can't see, but for 90% of the race, you can pretty much see everybody. So it also allows the racers to say, okay, here comes our teammates. They're starting to come up the hill. Yep. We need to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Put our shoes back on type thing. But no, it's a family affair. Yeah, right. Yeah. It is a family type thing. When I say family in a general sense, like, your friends and you're actually family coming out and watching and being a part of this. It's not just the runners. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, this is, this type of race is something that just fits in line with Stay Healthy Knoxville, just helping to promote, health and, promote family in a local event too that we can highlight. So so happy to highlight, Hardship Hill, and encourage others to look into it and to sign up as well. One other thing that Stay Healthy Knoxville and myself, just as the physical therapist, wanted to do to support Hardship Hill, we talked about before the show, is having some like an injury screen, and I'll have some links here in the show notes. But what I'm looking to do is, if somebody has like an injury or something that's holding them back, we're not going to give you an excuse to not do
That's
Hardship
right.
Hill, right? So I'm going to be volunteering my time and asking actually to have like a $30 donation that'll go to Operation Enduring Warrior. And what you'll get is anybody listening is out there that has an injury and wants to have a 30-minute time to come come see me. I'm looking at dates. We'll have some time set up on Thursday, March 21st, and then also looking at a few dates a little closer to the event in April. So looking at April 25th and April 27th. So 2 are on Thursday evenings, and 1 will be on a Saturday morning. So
that is awesome. Thank you very much.
So so if you're interested in that, that'll be $30 for the 30-minute injury screen assessment, and all the money going to Operation Enduring Warrior.
Cool. I might have to sign up for like a 3-hour one. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Well, we're going to take a quick break from our sponsor, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about F3 and that organization.
Great.
Stay Healthy Knoxville is sponsored by Simply Physio, a physio clinic that equips and empowers you to live your life to the fullest so that you can enjoy the things you love to do and be the person you are made to be. Simply Physio specializes in helping people get back to a healthy and active lifestyle, living free from pain and medication and avoiding unnecessary surgery. Stay tuned until the end of the episode to receive a special gift from Simply Physio and enjoy listening to the rest of the episode.
All right, well, welcome back. We're going to shift just a little bit into this group talking about F3 and also F3's sister organization, FIA. And so, this came up in conversation of the first half of the podcast, as far as F3 was a large sponsor of Hardship Hill, and know that this year they're trying to go above and beyond and really including other groups. But wanted to let people know a little bit about F3. And yeah, so Chris, tell us kind of how you got connected in your involvement with F3.
Well, you ever seen those kids that like have a fit in the grocery store and the parents are just kind of like pulling them and they're kicking and screaming? That was basically me. I had some good friends that were in F3.
Okay.
Wood Shack would be one of them, and Proton. We all have nicknames, by the way. But they were telling me about this F3, and they were like, "It's a great group. These guys. You know them. You know most of them. You need to come out there." I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds all right. Yeah, we meet at 5:30 in the morning." I'm like, nope, no way. And at the time, it was at Lakeshore Park, and
Okay.
I live about 30 minutes from Lakeshore, so I was like, "There's no way.
Sure.
I'm not coming out there. Forget it." So they worked on me for about 6 months, and he called me. He's like, "Hey man, we're gonna have one at Concord Park now."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "No." And it took another month for them to wear me down, and finally I went out there, and it was at 5:30 in the morning. And I'm not a morning person at all,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved it. It was great.
When did you start, or when were you your first?
It was pretty cold outside.
F&G day.
Yeah,
Friendly new guy.
Yeah, friendly new guy. I think it was. No, actually, it wasn't cold. So I've been doing it for so long, I can't even remember now.
Okay.
But I think it was actually the end of August when I started, about 2.5 years ago. Yes.
Okay.
And I loved it. I mean, it was just something that I've been kind of missing in my life. I played sports in high school. I've got a twin brother, so I was always around, other guys. And as you get older, I have 4 kids and a beautiful wife, and I love my life with my family. But I found that my friends and the guys that I hung out with those times with them were kind of spaced apart a lot longer than I wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And as a grown man, you miss that fellowship with other men,
Mm-hmm.
especially like-minded men.
Mm-hmm.
And F3 really filled that void for me, and it does for a lot of guys. So F3, by the way, stands for Fitness, Fellowship, and Faith. And each aspect of the F, the first one, fitness, is that's the draw. Basically, that's what gets people out there. So hey, come out and work out with us. You look a little chubby these days, whatnot. And for me, I was way out of shape, and that's not a problem. I mean, people are like, oh, I'll come out there when I get in shape or something like that. That's not the case. We got guys out there that are way out of shape, and the guys that are older. We've got a guy that's 70 years old that works out with us. Okay?
Wow.
And you do what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not pushing you so hard that you're going to have a heart attack and keel over or something like that. But we're going to encourage you to do the best you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what got me. I literally couldn't do 10 push-ups when I first started. I'm not kidding. That's pretty bad. Of course, I had a little bit of a shoulder injury at the time, but that's the excuse I'm sticking with.
That's right.
No, but so they worked on me, and then I was there, and then I became like a recruiter almost for F3 because I wanted other men to experience what I was experiencing. And the fitness is great. I'm in really good shape now as far as adulthood, but it's the fellowship that you have with these guys and the joking around and the fart jokes and stuff like that you missed and with other guys, And then the faith aspect is huge. At each workout, they're 45 minutes long. Like I said, you start at 5:30 in the morning. For most, there is an afternoon one at Lakeshore Park. But at the end of
are there a few other afternoon ones too?
What's that?
Are there a few other afternoon ones?
Yeah. There were. There's one that they're starting in Fountain City.
Okay.
So hopefully that'll be up and running.
Okay.
Hopefully by the time this is aired. But yeah. So at the end of the 45-minute workout, you have I hate to call it a devotional. It's not like we're pulling out scripture and and
message.
reading it. Yeah, but there's a message, and it doesn't necessarily have to be scripturally based, but just something that's encouraging, something that maybe that the person that led that morning, and that's what we do. We take turns leading, so that's why it's free too. There's absolutely no cost to this except for sweat and sometimes tears. But whoever's leading, so we take turns leading, and once you've been doing it a while, you can we encourage people to lead, and that's part of F3's mantra, I guess you could say, is we encourage male leadership and quit sitting on the couch and expecting other people to do things. If we want to change the world, we got to get out there and actually do it.
Now you mentioned male leadership.
Yep.
So is it exclusive?
It is, yes.
Okay.
We're not sexist by any means, but there is another group called FIA, FIA, and it stands for Females in Action. It's basically the sister for F3. And it's a great group. Same premise. You have the same type hours as far as 5:30 in the morning. You have the same encouragement.
I think isn't there just a little earlier?
It might be.
I think there's might be 5:15.
Yeah, they're crazy.
They are.
But they use yoga mats.
We'll leave some information. We don't have all the details. There's a lot of places around town where you can find a spot, close by. But so we'll leave that information.
Yeah.
Here in the show notes. But yeah, I think they made it 5:15.
Yeah, they might. Yeah, I tell you what, those ladies get after it, and they grew so fast in Knoxville. And F3 did as well. But I mean, gosh, they had 40 women, and I guess there's a real bonding for women to be around each other too. So, we have our families, and we love our families, we love our spouses, but sometimes we just need some other people around us that can hang out with, and
that's similar.
Die together,
right? I moved up to Knoxville. You grew up in Knoxville, but moved up to Knoxville a year and a half ago in 2017. That the year I moved up here was probably my unhealthiest year as far as not getting in exercise, and we moved and didn't have a community, didn't have guys to work out with, and I'm sure it was the least amount of exercise I'd ever gotten in a year, and similar story. I had a brother-in-law actually that he's in the military, and he was in town, and he was like, "Oh man, you should check out this group." Like he's not even here in Knoxville, but F3's around a lot of the Southeast, a lot of cities,
yeah,
maybe
it's nationwide.
Okay,
they've got on the West Coast.
Yeah,
yeah.
So he told me about the group, and he's like, "Man, I think you really like them, like the group." And so, same thing for me. It filled a void that I needed, and some of that accountability, but also like having moved here to Knoxville, and I knew a lot of people, but hadn't really kind of found kind of that community of people, and it's hard when you got full-time jobs, and I was opening up my practice, and it just really filled a need of mine for exercising, for fellowship, and for that accountability. So
absolutely, accountability. I forgot to even mention that.
Yeah,
there's times I've woken up like, oh, man, they're expecting me. I know. I just talked to Doubtfire is a good one. One of the guys in the group. He's always like, "You're going to be there tomorrow, right?" Yes, I'll be there. It's funny, you always kind of you're kind of regretting getting up in the morning, but you never regret after the workout and after you're spending some time.
Yeah, no doubt.
With your friends. So, but there's a guy in Knoxville that'd be bad if I didn't mention, but Ted Anselet was the guy who started F3 in Knoxville.
Okay.
Just a tremendous guy, and he lives for this group, and he's such a good leader for everybody in Knoxville, and really F3 Nation. All the different we call them AOs around the country. It started in Charlotte, North Carolina, but Knoxville is
an
really
AO is
area of operations.
Okay. So just
I believe that's what it stands for.
Okay.
That's what I call it.
Just the location of the workout.
Location of the workout. Yeah. So our region, which would be the Knoxville region, Ted started at, and his nickname is Captain Crunch, which is so fitting for him. But he's really looked at as a huge leader within F3. Our region here in Knoxville has just grown, fantastic. We do a lot of service type work too. Right now, actually, we're doing a food drive for a group called the Wesley House. It's an after school program for kids. So we're getting everybody to bring in, food and things like that right now. And of course, we do things like the Hardship Hill and other little service projects that we do across town. So, again, it's just creating that leadership among men. So.
Yeah, and even has been real fun to participate in, even not the early morning workout. I mean, that's fun too, but where they have other social events that maybe not exercise based, but maybe once a quarter they'll have like a speaker.
Yes, that's part of the third F, the faith aspect. Once a quarter we'll meet together in a convergence. A lot of times we'll meet together and do one big workout at a location, but other than that, we come in and they'll have a couple speakers or a speaker and talk about a subject that's very timely for men of our age, and we have men that are, like I said, that are probably 18 to 70. We've even had some 15-year-olds come out there with their dads. That's a great thing to come out and hear some of these guys and their life experiences. Man, just talking with some of the guys in the group, as you're dying doing crunches or burpees or something like that with them, and you're having these conversations afterwards. Some of these guys look like they've got it all together, but they don't. I'm one of those guys. People look at me and say, "Oh yeah, he's got 4 kids, wife. Everything's great with him." No, I struggle just like everybody else, and that's part of being able to lean on each other. And it sounds kind of sappy and things like that, but it doesn't make you less of a man to admit that you struggle at times, and that's part of what F3 is about.
I think I'd argue that it makes you more of a man when you can admit, your weakness.
Yeah.
And that you need some help and need a savior ultimately.
That's right. Yeah.
So, because we're not perfect. No one is. And, when you can't admit that, it's, the best example you can have for your kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doing those type of things and people around you too.
Very much so. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll leave some information as far as if somebody's interested in find out more about F3 or FIA. There's a number of locations. I know with F3 there's more right now because it's been going on. Here in Knoxville longer. Just all around town. There's maybe 7 or 8 different.
Yeah, gosh,
maybe 9 even.
We might be at 9 at this point.
Spots where they various days of the week they'll be having workouts. But yeah, you should be able to find if you Google it, just F3 Knoxville.
Yeah, the website's f3knoxville.com.
Okay,
pretty
there you
simple.
go.
Yeah, and then I think, I'm not sure about FIA, but if you
FIA,
if you did a search on Facebook, you should be able to find them as well. Yeah, I know their email address is fiaknoxville.com or @gmail.com, but I'm not sure about the website. So.
Okay, awesome. Well, so we're trying to give everybody here in Knoxville no excuses, right? So no excuses not to participate in an adventure race, Hardship Hill, but also here there's just a great opportunity, a great resource out there with F3 or FIA. There's no fee, right? It's free.
Right. It's completely free.
So you just got to show up.
Got to show up and work hard.
Yep. Awesome. Well, let's kind of get into the last part of the episode. We got some questions I'd like to ask all my guests, Tank. And the first one is, Tank, tell us one of your favorite things that you haven't done around Knoxville, greater East Tennessee area, and maybe something on your bucket list.
On my bucket list, man, I did have one for a while, and it was going to IAMS. I've never been to or IJMS. I never know how to pronounce it.
I think it's IAMS.
Is it IAMS? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like so curious about that place. I wanted to go there so bad, but I never really just did it,
Mm-hmm.
And finally, my wife had something going on. I said, "Kids, get in the car. Let's go. We're going to go down to IAMS and explore that place." And we did, and it was cool. And I want to do some paddleboarding and stuff out there. So that was one of the things I just recently checked off the bucket list.
There you go.
Yeah.
I guess do they have paddle boards you can rent?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a neat little place. They've got like a little beer stand there, and
Mountain biking
and stuff like that. Yeah, really cool place. And we took a tour of the little museum in there, and they've got some neat stuff in there. So yeah, cool little place.
Nice. Well, on kind of the flip side, what's your favorite place to explore, and enjoy around Knoxville? What's been one of your favorites?
Wow. Maybe like outside of Knoxville, I love to backpack.
Okay.
Knoxville's such an awesome place. I mean, you can go in any direction and you'll find something. Big South Fork North is close enough. You've got Slick Rock Creek. You've got Joyce Kilmer. You've got all these, but of course the Great Smoky Mountains. So anything outdoors, just jumping in the car and going and hiking and spending time with the kids and the family.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Getting outside the house, getting unwiring. From technology.
Exactly. Gosh, they're playing these Fortnite games and everything else so much. It's like, hey, shut it off. We're going to go out in the woods and listen for a little bit.
Unplug.
I thought this year was my year that everyone would carry their own load backpacking, but no, I had to carry my daughter's backpack and mine. And then my son started pooping out on me as well. So I have a picture of myself with my backpack, one on top of my shoulders and then one on my front. Maybe next year.
Well, good job, man, for getting them out there. I'm sure those. I'm sure even despite, some complaints, that those are the things they'll remember.
Yeah, it's getting better every year. Less complaints.
There you go.
I think they're starting to enjoy it and understand why we get out there.
Yeah. Well, nice.
Yep.
Well, next one is what's one of your favorite places to eat? Favorite restaurant around Knoxville?
It's a pretty easy one for me. The wife and I love to go to Seasons.
Okay.
Guy that owns it is Chef Duran. He's a really nice guy. They go to church with us too, and man, their food is just phenomenal. I've never been disappointed there. Wait staff is great. It's an easy one.
We went for our anniversary this past fall with my wife, and we had the same experience. It was top notch. It was one of those, we were like, we're coming back here.
Yeah. And even if you're looking for something kind of inexpensive, you can get a burger there, and their burgers are phenomenal, and they're not that expensive. So yeah, even a nice little lunch date is good there. So
nice,
definitely Seasons.
And last question, Tank, is what's your best tip or recommendation for staying healthy?
Oh man, getting an F3, probably eating right, and staying mobile after dinner. It's easy to sit down because we all work hard during the day, and we want to come home, play with the kids a little bit, and then we eat dinner, and then it's like, okay, time to sit down and unwind a little bit in front of the TV. But man, you can get chunky quick doing that. So it's funny if you look at parents when they have young kids, like little kids that they have to take care of and get them to bed and stuff like that. There's not too many that are out of shape too much, because as soon as they get done with dinner, it's work time. And I had a physician friend of mine that was telling me that. He goes, "That's why you're in good shape, because you got 4 kids." But I think it is. I think staying active after dinner, go for a walk or something like that is pretty good. So that would be my tip.
Yeah, we found kind of using technology, because the screen. There's we got young kids, so that and I'm sure even older kids. There's something about the TV, the screen, and how can we use this to our advantage? And pop on. We have Amazon Prime, and find some yoga. They have a Cosmic Kids yoga.
Oh yeah.
So we'll do. We tried a karate one last week. It was a pretty corny. I'd recommend the karate one on Amazon, but yeah, it's all the kids are doing it and moving around, and we're doing it. It was fun.
That was funny. I'll have to check that out. You reminded me of something. I do conditioning practices for Farragut Middle School lacrosse team.
Okay.
And so it's just once a week right now because we're in the off season, and I put them through an F3 workout basically, so they get a good workout in. But there's that 6 other days of the week they're not doing anything but playing Fortnite. So I asked them, I said, "Who all here plays Fortnite?" And pretty much every one of them raised their hand. I said, "All right, here's what you're gonna do. Every time you die in that game, you're gonna have to do 10 burpees." So
is that like the James
hoping,
Bond? I'm sorry, I'm not. I don't have kids that age, so I don't know what Fortnite
it's
is.
A crazy addictive game. It's ridiculous. They all play it,
right?
And I mean, mean, it's a genius game.
Sounds like, I guess
free.
James Bond was, when I was growing up, was playing James Bond. It sounds like maybe something kind of like that.
It's one of those first-person shooter type games.
Yeah.
Pretty harmless, but yeah. So when I told them that, they were like, oh. I doubt any of them did it anyhow, but
right. worth the effort though.
Yeah, right.
Well, nice. Well, Tank, Chris, DeFranco, it's been awesome having you on the show.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, so we've mentioned a number of things here that we'll leave in the show notes. F3, FIA, Hardship Hill, and then also the link if somebody's has an injury or wants to come in for the injury screen. So we'll have all those in the show notes and check those out. But yeah, thanks so much for coming out and telling us about these opportunities here for people to enjoy the race and the workout group here around town.
I appreciate you having me. And thanks again for the pre-screening. That's very nice of you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to the Stay Healthy Knoxville podcast, brought to you by Simply Physio. If your pain is preventing you from staying healthy and active and you'd like to avoid surgery, pain medicine, or just want to get back to doing the things you love in and around Knoxville, we offer both a free ebook and free over-the-phone consultation to help you figure out the root cause of your pain and the next best steps for resolving it. Find our ebooks online at simplypt.com/health-tips. There you will find ebooks for topics such as neck and shoulder pain, lower back and hip pain, knee pain, and TMJ. These quick-to-read reports will provide you with expert tips, tricks, and exercises to help solve your pain from the comfort of your own home. Just visit simplypt.com/health-tips to download your ebook and have it delivered directly to your inbox. We also offer free, no-obligation phone consultations with a doctor of physical therapy to Knoxville area residents. Just call us at 865-351-0615 or visit us at simplypt.com and click the Talk to a PT button on the home page to schedule a call with us. Thanks again for joining us, and we will see you next time on the Stay Healthy Knoxville podcast.